What if the silence you fear is the key to hearing your soul's deepest truths in a world screaming with noise screens? Stress. Endless distractions. Your inner voice is waiting to be heard. Welcome to Jung Psyche Hub, where we unlock Carl Jung's timeless wisdom to guide you toward authentic living. In this video, we dive into 4 transformative lessons inspired by Carl Jung's individuation and shadow work to show you how to quiet the body and let yourself speak. You'll learn to awaken your soul through silence, purify your energy with abstinence, embrace emptiness as a creative space, and transform relationships with clarity, backed by real stories, neuroscience, and practical steps. This journey will empower you to break free from the collective unconscious and live with purpose. This isn't just a video. It's an invitation to meet your true self. Grab a notebook, because these lessons will change how you experience life. Let's silence the noise and listen to your soul now. What if the silence you avoid is where your deepest truths come alive? Welcome to the first transformative lesson, inspired by Carl Jung. Silence awakens your soul. In a world buzzing with notifications, endless chatter, and the pressure to always be on, silence feels like a void to be filled. But what if it's the opposite? What if silence is the sacred space where yourself, the core of who you are, begins to speak, rooted in Carl Jung's individuation process? This lesson will show you how to quiet the noise of the body and the collective unconscious to hear the whispers of your soul. Through real stories and practical steps, you'll learn why silence isn't emptiness. It's the gateway to clarity, purpose, and authentic living. Let's dive into how silence can awaken yourself. Carl Jung's individuation is the journey of integrating all parts of your psyche, your desires, fears, and hidden truths into your true self. This process requires stepping away from the collective unconscious, the societal pressures that drown out your inner voice with demands to perform, share, or conform. We live in a culture addicted to noise-scrolling screens, endless conversations, and constant stimulation. This noise keeps us tethered to the surface, chasing distractions instead of diving deep. Silence, however, is the antidote. By quieting the body and mind, you create space for yourself to emerge, revealing insights that the noise of modern life buries. Carl Jung taught that the self speaks in whispers, not shouts, and only in silence can you hear its call. Consider Emma, a 32-year-old writer, overwhelmed by the demands of her career and social media. She felt drained, jumping from deadlines to notifications, always sharing her thoughts to stay relevant. Her creativity stalled, and she felt disconnected from herself. During a retreat, Emma learned about Carl Jung's individuation and decided to experiment with silence. She set aside 1 hour each morning, no phone, no talking, just sitting with her thoughts. At first, the quiet was unsettling. Her mind raced, urging her to check her email or post an update. But as she persisted, something shifted. Emma began to notice her breath, her emotions, and a quiet longing to write from her heart. Not for likes. After weeks of this practice, her creativity surged, and her sense of purpose returned. Emma's story shows that silence doesn't isolate. It connects you to yourself. Why is silence so powerful? Because it's where awareness is born. Carl Jung's individuation reveals that the self, your deepest essence, cannot be heard amid the chaos of external noise. A 2022 study from Stanford University found that just 10 minutes of daily silence reduces stress hormones like cortisol by 15%, boosting focus and emotional clarity. Silence calms the amygdala, the brain's fear center, and activates the prefrontal cortex, enhancing insight and decision-making. When you step away from stimulation, you stop reacting and start observing. You notice the tightness in your chest, the restlessness in your body, the thoughts you've ignored. This awareness isn't empty. It's alive with the voice of yourself, guiding you toward purpose and authenticity. Here's the deeper truth. Silence is a radical act of rebellion. The collective unconscious society's pressure to stay connected, productive, and visible keeps you trapped in a cycle of noise. Carl Jung's Individuation teaches that breaking free means reclaiming your inner space. Silence isn't just the absence of sound, it's the presence of your soul. When you stop filling every moment with distractions, you create room for clarity. A fleeting thought becomes a revelation. A buried emotion surfaces as wisdom. Silence allows you to hear what you've been running from, whether it's a dream you've ignored or a truth you've avoided. By embracing silence, you align with yourself, stepping out of the storm of modern life and into the calm of your own essence. So, how do you awaken your soul through silence? Start by recognizing the noise in your life. Journal about moments when you feel overwhelmed, perhaps scrolling social media or overthinking a conversation. Ask, what am I avoiding by staying busy? This uncovers the shadow of distraction, often rooted in fear of facing yourself. Next, practice intentional, silence daily. Set aside 10 minutes each morning to sit quietly. No phone, no music, just you. Focus on your breath, noticing thoughts without chasing them. If silence feels uncomfortable, stay with it. Discomfort is the doorway to growth. Turn off notifications for an hour each day to limit digital noise. Reflect daily on one insight. Silence reveals. Like a forgotten goal or a hidden emotion, surround yourself with people who respect your quiet, as their energy will support your practice. Mindfulness deepens silence. Carl Jung's Individuation emphasizes conscious awareness to connect with yourself. Try a brief meditation. Sit still. Close your eyes and listen to the sounds around you without reacting. Let your thoughts flow like clouds, observing without judgment. If the urge to check your phone arises, pause and breathe, asking, what is my self trying to tell me? Journaling helps capture these whispers. Write down one thought or feeling silence uncovers each day. Over time, silence becomes a sanctuary, not a void. As Carl Jung self-teaches, silence isn't empty. It's where your soul speaks. What truths might your soul reveal in silence? How would it feel to pause and listen to yourself? Silence isn't empty. It's your most powerful gateway to awakening. By embracing it, you align with yourself and unlock a life of clarity and purpose. Let's move to the next lesson, where we'll explore how abstinence purifies your energy. What if stepping back from indulgence could cleanse your soul and sharpen your clarity? Welcome to the second transformative lesson, inspired by Carl Jung. Abstinence as purification. In a world that pushes us to chase every desire, scrolling screens, seeking validation, or chasing fleeting pleasures, abstinence is a radical act of reclaiming your energy. Far from denial, it's a conscious choice to pause, to clear the noise, and to let yourself shine through. Rooted in Carl Jung's shadow work, this lesson will show you how abstaining from overstimulation, whether digital, emotional, or physical, purifies your inner world, helping you face your shadow and align with your authentic self through real stories, science, and practical steps. You'll discover why abstinence is the key to unlocking emotional clarity and purpose. Let's explore how saying no can mean saying yes to your soul. Carl Jung's shadow work involves confronting the hidden parts of your psyche, your impulses, fears, and unacknowledged needs that drive unconscious behavior. The shadow often fuels our compulsive need for instant gratification, whether through endless scrolling, emotional outbursts, or chasing external validation. Carl Jung's individuation process teaches that true freedom comes from integrating these hidden urges, not being ruled by them. Abstinence, whether from social media, sensory overload, or impulsive reactions, creates the space to face your shadow. By stepping back from what demands your energy, you purify your inner world, clearing the clutter that drowns out yourself. This isn't about suppressing desire, it's about refining it, allowing your soul to guide your choices instead of your impulses. Consider Liam, a 28-year-old engineer addicted to his phone. He spent hours daily on social media, seeking likes and reacting to every notification, leaving him drained and unfocused. His relationship suffered as he was too distracted to connect deeply. During a therapy session, Liam learned about Carl Jung's shadow work and realized his digital habits stemmed from a shadow need for approval. He decided to practice abstinence, limiting social media to 30 minutes daily and turning off notifications. At first, the urge to check his phone was overwhelming, like an itch he couldn't scratch. But as he persisted, Liam noticed a shift. He became aware of his restlessness, his need to be seen, and a deeper longing for meaningful work. By abstaining, he cleared the noise, rediscovering his focus and strengthening his connections. Liam's story shows that abstinence doesn't limit you, it liberates yourself. Why is abstinence as purification so powerful? Because it resets your energy and sharpens your awareness. Carl Jung's shadow work reveals that our compulsive behaviors, scrolling, overeating, or venting, often mask deeper unmet needs in the shadow. A 2023 study from the University of Cambridge found that reducing screen time by just 1 hour daily boosts dopamine sensitivity, enhancing mood and focus by 12%. Abstinence recalibrates your brain, quieting the amygdala's impulsive reactions and activating the prefrontal cortex for better self-regulation. When you step back from overstimulation, you stop chasing fleeting highs and start noticing subtle truths, a thought you've ignored, a feeling you've buried. This purification isn't punishment, it's a return to clarity, allowing yourself to guide you toward what truly matters. Here's the deeper truth. Abstinence is a form of inner alchemy. Carl Jung's Individuation teaches that by confronting your shadow, you transform raw impulses into conscious choices. The collective unconscious society's pressure to indulge, react, and stay busy keeps you tethered to distraction. Abstinence breaks this cycle, creating space for your soul to speak. When you say no to a compulsive urge like checking your phone or venting in anger, you're not depriving yourself. You're reclaiming your power. This restraint builds discipline, not as harsh control but as compassionate guidance, like a gardener pruning weeds to let a flower bloom. Abstinence clears away what clouds your self, revealing your authentic desires and purpose. It's not about less, it's about more clarity, more presence, more you. So, how do you practice abstinence as purification? Start by exploring your shadow. Journal about a habit that drains you, perhaps scrolling social media or reacting impulsively in arguments. Ask, what need am I trying to fill? This uncovers the shadow of validation or avoidance driving your actions. Next, choose one area for abstinence. It could be digital limit screen time to 30 minutes daily, or emotional pause before reacting to frustration, or physical. Take a break from indulgent habits like snacking or excessive caffeine. Set a clear boundary, like a 7-day digital detox or a no-venting day. When the urge to indulge arises, breathe deeply and ask, What is my self-seeking journal? Your observations to process urges privately. Surround yourself with people who support your restraint. As their energy reinforces your practice, mindfulness strengthens abstinence. Carl Jung's shadow work emphasizes awareness to align with yourself. Try a 5-minute meditation. Sit quietly. Notice your impulses without acting, and let them pass like waves. If you crave distraction, pause and write down. The feeling journaling helps purify your energy by externalizing it. Reflect daily on one moment where abstinence brought clarity, like skipping a reactive text to focus on your thoughts. Over time, abstinence becomes a habit, transforming how you engage with life. As Carl Jung's shadow work teaches, abstinence isn't denial, it's purification. What noise are you ready to let go of? How would it feel to purify your energy and hear yourself? Abstinence isn't denial, it's the path to inner clarity. By saying no to distraction, you say yes to your soul. Let's move to the next lesson, where we'll explore how emptiness becomes a creative space. What if the emptiness you fear is the birthplace of your deepest creativity and wisdom? Welcome to the third transformative lesson, inspired by Carl Jung, emptiness as creative space. In a world that equates busyness with worth and fullness with success, emptiness feels like failure, a void to be filled with distractions or achievements. But what if emptiness is the fertile ground where your self takes root, rooted in Carl Jung's sage archetype? This lesson will show you how embracing the quiet space of emptiness, free from overstimulation or the need to perform, unlocks creativity, clarity, and a profound connection to yourself through real stories, science, and practical steps. You'll discover why emptiness isn't absence, it's the womb of insight. Let's explore how stillness can spark your soul's most vibrant creations. Carl Jung's sage archetype embodies wisdom, introspection, and the ability to find meaning in stillness. The sage thrives in emptiness, where the noise of the collective unconscious society's pressure to stay busy, connected, and productive fades away. Carl Jung's individuation process teaches that yourself, the core of your authentic being, emerges most clearly when you stop filling every moment with action or distraction. Emptiness isn't a lack, it's a canvas for your soul to paint its truths. By stepping into this space, you allow buried dreams, suppressed emotions, and creative insights to surface. Free from the clutter of external demands, Carl Jung believed that creativity and wisdom are born in the quiet moments when you let go of the need to be anything other than present. Consider Ava, a 40-year-old therapist who felt trapped in a cycle of burnout. Her days were packed with clients, emails, and social obligations, leaving no room for herself. She craved creativity, writing, painting, or simply dreaming, but felt her spark had faded. During a sabbatical, Ava learned about Carl Jung's sage archetype and decided to embrace emptiness. She committed to a week of solitude. No phone, no schedule, just quiet. At first, the stillness was unnerving. She felt restless, tempted to fill the void with tasks. But as she leaned into it, Ava began to journal, noticing memories and ideas she'd long ignored. By the week's end, she had written a short story and rediscovered her love for painting. Ava's story shows that emptiness doesn't diminish you, it unleashes yourself. Why is emptiness, as a creative space, so powerful? Because it's where your soul finds room to breathe. Carl Jung's sage archetype teaches that wisdom and creativity emerge when you stop chasing external validation and embrace the quiet within. A 2024 study from the University of California found that periods of solitude and reduced stimulation increase divergent thinking, the ability to generate creative ideas by 18%, Emptiness quiets the brain's default mode network, which fuels overthinking and activates regions tied to insight and imagination. When you let go of the need to fill every moment, you create space for yourself to reveal hidden desires, unresolved emotions, or bold new ideas. This isn't absence. It's the fertile soil where your soul's creations take root. Here's the deeper truth. Emptiness is a rebellion against the collective unconscious. Society tells us to fear the void, to fill it with noise, productivity, or validation. Carl Jung's Individuation reveals that embracing emptiness is how you connect with yourself. When you stop running from silence, you discover what's been waiting, a dream you've shelved, a truth you've buried, or a vision you've ignored. Emptiness is where your sage speaks, offering wisdom that doesn't shout but whispers. A fleeting thought becomes a poem. A quiet moment sparks a breakthrough. By creating space, you allow yourself to weave creativity and meaning, free from the pressure to perform or conform. Emptiness isn't a loss. It's a canvas for your soul's masterpiece. So, how do you embrace emptiness as a creative space? Start by exploring your fear of the void. Journal about a time you filled silence with distractions, perhaps scrolling social media or overworking to avoid being alone. Ask, what am I afraid to face in emptiness? This uncovers the shadow of avoidance, often tied to fear of your own thoughts or emotions. Next, practice intentional emptiness. Set aside 1 hour daily with no agenda, no phone. No tasks, just presence. Sit in silence, take a walk, or stare out a window, letting thoughts flow without judgment. If restlessness arises, breathe through it. The discomfort is where growth begins. Reflect daily on one insight. Emptiness reveals, like a forgotten passion or a new idea. Surround yourself with people who honor your need for space, as their energy supports your practice. Mindfulness amplifies emptiness. Carl Jung's sage archetype emphasizes conscious awareness to connect with yourself. Try a 10-minute meditation. Sit quietly. Focus on your breath, and let your mind settle like water clearing in a glass. If the urge to fill the void surfaces, pause and ask, what is myself trying to create? Journaling captures these sparks. Write down one idea or emotion emptiness uncovers each day. Over time, emptiness becomes a sacred space, not a threat. As Carl Jung's sage teaches, emptiness isn't absence. It's the womb of insight. What could emerge in your emptiness? How would it feel to let yourself create in silence? Emptiness isn't absence. It's the birthplace of your soul's creativity. By embracing it, you align with yourself and unlock a life of wisdom and inspiration. Let's move to the next lesson, where we'll explore how clarity transforms connection. What if the clarity you gain from silence could deepen your relationships like never before? Welcome to the fourth transformative lesson inspired by Carl Jung. Clarity transforms connection. In a world where relationships often falter under the weight of miscommunication, reactivity, and emotional noise, clarity, born from stillness, becomes the bridge to authentic connection. When you quiet the body and listen to yourself, you show up with presence, not projection, fostering bonds that are rooted in truth rather than chaos. Grounded in Carl Jung's concept of the self, this lesson will show you how to use clarity to build trust, heal misunderstandings, and create relationships that thrive through real stories, science, and practical steps. You'll discover why clarity is the key to meaningful connection. Let's explore how silence can transform the way you love and connect. Carl Jung's self. The integrated core of your psyche represents the authentic essence that emerges when you align with your inner truth. Carl Jung's individuation process teaches that true connection with others begins with clarity within yourself, achieved by quieting the noise of the collective unconscious society's pressure to react, perform, or please. When your body and mind are overwhelmed by stimulation or unprocessed emotions, you project your shadow fears, insecurities, or unmet needs onto others, creating conflict or distance. Clarity, cultivated through silence, allows you to see others as they are, not as mirrors of your inner chaos. By listening to yourself, you bring presence to relationships, fostering trust and intimacy that withstand the storms of misunderstanding. Consider Noah, a 35-year-old manager who struggled with tension in his marriage. He often reacted impulsively during arguments, letting frustration spill into harsh words that left both him and his partner, Lila, feeling disconnected. During a couples workshop, Noah learned about Carl Jung's self and the power of stillness. He began practicing silence before responding in conflicts, taking a moment to breathe and ask, "What is my self feeling?" This pause helped him notice his shadow, a fear of being unheard driving his reactions. By choosing clarity over reactivity, Noah started listening to Leela's words without defensiveness, creating space for her to share vulnerably. Their conversations deepened, and their bond grew stronger. Noah's story shows that clarity doesn't just resolve conflict, it builds connection. Why is clarity so transformative for relationships? Because it replaces chaos with presence. Carl Jung's self teaches that when you're grounded in your inner truth, you stop reacting from unhealed wounds or societal pressures. A 2023 study from the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships found that mindful presence, pausing to process emotions before responding, reduces conflict in relationships by 20% and increases emotional intimacy. Clarity calms the amygdala, reducing impulsive reactions, and engages the prefrontal cortex, enhancing empathy and understanding. When you approach others with a clear mind, you hear the unspoken subtle tones, hésitant pause, or hidden emotions, creating a safe space for authentic connection. Clarity isn't just seeing clearly, it's being present enough to truly connect. Here's the deeper truth. Clarity is a gift you give to others. The collective unconscious pushes us to fill relationships with noise, arguments, expectations, or validation seeking. But Carl Jung's individuation reveals that true connection thrives in stillness. When you silence your inner chaos, you stop projecting your shadow onto others. A partner's frustration isn't a threat, it's a call to listen. A friend's silence isn't rejection, it's a moment to understand. Clarity allows you to hold space for others' truths without needing to fix or control them. This presence is magnetic. It builds trust, heals wounds, and fosters intimacy that words alone can't achieve. By aligning with yourself, you create relationships rooted in authenticity, not reaction. So, how do you cultivate clarity to transform connection? Start by exploring your shadow. Journal about a recent conflict or misunderstanding, perhaps an argument where you reacted impulsively. Ask, what unhealed need drove my response? This uncovers the shadow of fear or insecurity clouding your clarity. Next, practice mindful pauses in conversations. Before responding, take a deep breath and ask, what is my self hearing? This creates space for clarity. Set a goal to listen fully in one interaction. Daily focus on the speaker's words, tone, and body language without planning your reply. Limit distractions, like putting away your phone during talks. Reflect daily on one moment where clarity deepened a connection. like hearing a friend's vulnerability without judgment. Surround yourself with people who value presence. As their energy supports your practice, mindfulness strengthens clarity. Carl Jung's self emphasizes conscious awareness to align with your inner truth. Try a 5-minute meditation, sit quietly. Focus on your breath. And visualize your mind as a clear pool, free of ripples. If reactive thoughts arise, observe them without acting, letting clarity emerge. Journaling helps solidify this. Write down one insight from a clear moment each day, like understanding a loved one's perspective. Over time, clarity becomes a habit, transforming how you connect. As Carl Jung's self teaches, clarity isn't just seeing, it's connecting from your soul. How can clarity deepen your relationships? What would it feel like to connect from your self-clarity? Isn't just understanding, it's the bridge to authentic connection. By cultivating it, you align with yourself and build bonds that thrive. Let's move to our final lesson, where we'll weave these practices into a life of purpose and presence. You've just uncovered the secret to awakening your soul when the body goes silent. Yourself speaks. Through 4 transformative lessons inspired by Carl Jung's wisdom, you've learned how to quiet the noise and align with your authentic self. From awakening your soul through silence to purifying your energy with abstinence, embracing emptiness as a creative space, and transforming connections with clarity, you now hold the tools to break free from the collective unconscious and live with purpose. This is Carl Jung's Individuation in action, a journey to hear your soul's whispers, reclaim your inner power, and connect deeply with others. Feel that spark of inspiration. That's yourself, calling you to live authentically now. This isn't just a video. It's a wake-up call to silence the chaos and listen to your soul. You're not the same person you were 20 minutes ago. You've discovered that silence is your sanctuary. Abstinence is your strength. Emptiness is your canvas. And clarity is your bridge to connection. But transformation begins with action. Which lesson will you apply today? Will you carve out 10 minutes of silence to hear yourself commit to a day of digital abstinence? Embrace an hour of emptiness for creativity, or pause to listen deeply in a conversation? Share your first step in the comments below. Your choice could spark someone else's journey. Let's build a community of presence and purpose together. Subscribe to Jung Psyche Hub and hit the bell to dive deeper into self-discovery and psychology. Like this video to keep these insights flowing, and share it with someone who needs to hear their soul, your friend, partner, or anyone seeking clarity. Every like, comment, and share spreads Carl Jung's transformative wisdom to the world. Don't wait for the noise to fade on its own. The time is now. As Carl Jung's self reminds us, your soul is always speaking. Silence the body and let it be heard. Let's keep awakening, creating, and connecting together.